I was in the middle of my commute and I received a personal email from Tesla. It said, "Dear employee, your position has been eliminated." And I was like, damn, it's just like that though.
What's your stance on Tesla now?
My stance on Tesla,
Finding out you had bradycardia and then you got slapped with a 7K medical bill. How is your mental health at this point?
getting that medical bill was really hard on me. They took my heart rate and the guy was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm completely fine. What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You gotta go on a stretcher now."
After so many setbacks, how are you still so positive?
I have this guard up. Whatever is in front of me, I am going to get over that hump. Everyone has a backstory, multiple backstories. The question is like, which one is running you now?
Talk us through the plan now. What are you most excited about?
I lived in the car for about 5 years, give or take. The plan is to actually invest that money I would have spent towards the mortgage or rent and put that into the stock market. Sometimes you gotta be a little weird, man, to get to this financial independence thing really quick. In this culture of, hey, go to school, get a job, retire 65. That does not sit right with me. It's gonna be one hell of a ride.
Nico, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
What's going on? What's up? What's up?
I mean, thank you for joining from the car. First of all, the Tesla Model Y. Just for the listeners and viewers, I did actually request that you take the call from the car. So it's not just for the kind of whole theatre. But yeah, there's the bed. But I mean, first of all, you seem to be in the spotlight right now, Nico. So yeah, what's going on? How are you dealing with it all?
Yeah, doing okay. So April 15th, that was when I was laid off from Tesla, and today it's like almost the end of May, so it's been over a month. And yeah, so for those of you who are just joining, I'm Nico Murillo. I was a production supervisor at Tesla. I worked there for about 5 years. And I was on my way to work. I was in the middle of my commute and I received a personal email from Tesla. It said, "Dear employee," and then it had this whole paragraph, and at the way end of the bottom was, "Your position has been eliminated due to this restructuring." And I was like, this is odd. Why am I getting a personal email and not to my work email about restructuring and all that? And it said, "Dear employee." So when I read that, I was like, this might be a scam. So let me just head on to work. I actually texted my boss. I was like, "Hey, what is this?" And then my boss was like, "Oh, everyone got that. You're fine. Just come in." I was like, all right. So my boss didn't even know at the time. And I went into work, I parked, and I went up to the badge office to get in, and it turned red. And I was like, wait a second, this is something that's real. And then I tried it again just to make sure. And then the security guard, like 6'3", he came up to me. He was like, "Sorry, man, you've been part of the layoffs. You no longer work here. We're gonna need your badge." And then I was like, what? I was like in total shock because like I've been working there for 5 years, and I camped in the car, like worked really hard to get to where I was at, and this is how I got out. And I was like, oh damn, oh, okay, here you go. And then I had to make the walk of shame to go out the building, and I was like, this is how it go out, this is how it ends. It's like, it was kind of, I was in grief in the moment, right? Like in shock. So that was my whole story.
And it's gripped a lot of people, I guess. Not just what happened, but more so the way that you've reacted. You know, your response, your positivity, your optimism, and this plan you have now of living from your Tesla for 5 years, become financially independent, and I think, well, you've got a few options, haven't you? You haven't quite decided. It's maybe Bali, a few of the Philippines to kind of go and live and enjoy retirement in your 30s. But before we get into that, let's talk about your life pre-Tesla. Because I know you had a very interesting journey up to that point. I know you were into bodybuilding and competed for a few years. So was it 2019 that you stopped? And if so, why did you stop?
Yeah, so I competed in bodybuilding from 2017, 18, and 19. But in 2018, so to preface all of this, in 2018, I had a meal prep business that we ran, me and my brother Alec, in San Jose, and we were prepping out food for the gym goers, the everyday workers. It was like your protein, your carbs, your veggies, right? Like your chicken, broccoli, rice. and we were producing about 250 meals a weekend. And then we were setting up gyms with a fridge, so pickup locations. We rented out a commercial kitchen. We had this whole big startup basically, and we had hired drivers and cookers and all that. And yeah, the business actually ended up not working out for the finances and stuff. And in 2018 slash 2019, ended the business, and it felt like a part of me was lost. And yeah, just ending the business had a whole mental effect on me, and I wanted to start over. And that's when I tried to go to the Air Force. And when I tried to go to the Air Force, I went into the entrance processing center where they check all your vitals. And I was at one of the rooms where they check your heart rate. And so the guy was checking my heart rate. He was like, "Hey, your heart is beating at 29 beats per minute. It's supposed to be beating at 60 beats per minute." And I was like, "That's not good, right?" And then he's like, "Yeah, you gotta go to the hospital now. How are you even standing right here?" And I was like, "I mean, I'm fine. Like, I could walk." And he's like, "No, you gotta go on a stretcher now." And I was like, "All right, hey, like, calm down. All right, I'll go on the stretcher, but I could walk. I'm fine." So they forced me into the stretcher, put me into the ambulance, which the ambulance ride is like $2,700 already. And then they put me into an overnight stay at the hospital, and that was a lot. And total 7 grand total bill. And yeah, I started at Tesla, and I said I got to get out of this debt. And so I got out of the debt in a couple months because I was listening to a lot of Dave Ramsey, and he says get out of debt is like top priority. So
Yeah, that story about trying to get into the Air Force. I mean, first of all, you took a big risk setting up your food prep business, which I think got kind of surface level sounded really exciting, and I guess after putting all that time and effort and putting your heart into it, it didn't work out. The Air Force, seems very. I know you like to keep fit. You're into bodybuilding and things, and I think ability wise, that's not that isn't beyond you. But then obviously you realize you have this medical condition. And we were talking about it before. I mean, you seem very very healthy, but obviously something that you can't join the join the Air Force with. Just for before we get kind of further on, understanding that you had bradycardia, and then you got kind of 7K of debt put on you. Obviously, you didn't choose to take their services and go to the hospital. How was your anxiety at this point? Kind of health anxiety, finance anxiety. Did any of that kind of happen at this point in your life?
yeah, definitely. So man, after a failed business and then not getting into the Air Force, it was kind of like these roadblocks were kept hitting me. Like, hey, you can't do the business. Okay, let's try to go to the Air Force. Hey, you can't go to the Air Force. And then I was just like, damn, man, what did all these things happen to me? Like, I can't, like, I'm trying to go up this hill, but these monsters keep pushing me back down. It's like going 3 steps forward and 5 steps back. I kept feeling like that was my thing. And one thing The Rock said, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he says, the best thing that never happened to me actually was the best thing that happened to me. And when he said that, he's like, because he was trying to go in the NFL, and then he didn't get in, and so he went to WWE. And then like I was like, damn, this is kind of like my story. Is like I was trying to go to the Air Force, and then like I got into Tesla, and then it was kind of like the same story. So I don't know, biographies interest me a lot. Like I listen to a lot of YouTube, and I read a lot of books, and I look at people's stories, and I feel like obstacles are the way, right? Like whenever you have something in your way, it's probably the way. That's the path. And when things don't go your way, hey, it's redirecting you in something greater, something good. So that's my take and like my mindset on things.
It's inspiring. I'm a strong believer in you have a choice. In your situation, there are the things that have happened to you. Even most recently, your time with Tesla. You take the positive out of things. You see, okay, you don't kind of get down in the dumps and let that consume you. You think, okay, well, where's the opportunity here? And of course, it hurts. You grieve for a period of time with the food business, but then you think, okay, well, where's next? And if you have that positive mindset, which you have, doesn't matter what happens, because what we're describing here is life. I guess you're not special in that, bad things only happen to you, bad things happen to everybody, but it's the way in which you deal with it. And, obviously then kind of Tesla happened for you. And it sounds like maybe at the time Tesla was what you needed, that maybe that discipline, that ability to get out of debt. Would you say that was the case? Do you look back on your 5 years of Tesla very, very fondly?
Yeah, nail on the head, man. Yeah, it's like yeah, you can't always control outside events, but you can always control what you do about it. And your response is like 100% in your control. And your attitude, how you talk to people, what you do now. And yeah, Tesla definitely got me to where I was like, damn, I could make something into this. I could turn this water into wine kind of deal, right? Like this whole Tesla, like at 2019 at the time, like it was doing okay. Like Model 3 was just starting out, and it was this whole like big thing when in 2020 when the Model Y came out. So I had a chance to launch that and touch one of the first Model Ys. So it was kind of exciting to see the growth of the company when I got in. At first 2019, I mean Model 3, yeah, and then I got to see the whole growth of 5 years, and very exciting stuff. There was a lot of like construction going on there, so at the company because I mean new things were coming up so quick, and it was kind of fun just to experience all of that.
Nice. And how would you describe your work-life balance when at Tesla? I understand that you kind of slept overnight in your car a few times.
Yeah, so the shifts were 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So it was like 3 days a week, 1 week, and then the next week it was 4 days a week. But you always had those days off where you had 3 days off and 4 days off, and that allowed me to travel a lot. It allowed me to go to Oregon, to Utah, to Redwoods, and to a lot of these different places that I wouldn't have gone because I had a regular job, like a 9 to 5. And when I had 4 full days off, it's like having a Memorial Day weekend every week, every other week. And so it was quite fun for me to have those days off because I got to travel and do the things that I wanted to do, experience this life, this one life that we have. Yeah, so the work-life balance was good on the days off, but during the days when you had to work, those 12 hours, I mean, you didn't even have time to really like eat your food sometimes. Like you had 30 minutes to eat, you had 20 minutes to take a shower, and then like you have to sleep now. Otherwise, you'll get like 6 hours of sleep if you're commuting. So I was like, you know what? Let me sleep in my car so I get a full 8 hours of sleep and I'll be okay mentally at work. So that was the whole deal with sleeping in the car idea.
I know, again, taking a positive out of the situation, you were able to travel the kind of 3-4 days in your days off. And you got into meditation, didn't you, I think, during this time? Did so just confirm, were you kind of practicing meditation and things when working at Tesla? And when you found it, did that help?
Yeah, so the meditation, work on your breath, listening to the outside things and like kind of being in the present moment, those things definitely it helped a little bit. But man, like some people describe Tesla as being like in the military, and I definitely felt that. And you know, I think sometimes because you have your ups and you have your downs, right? And when I was at Tesla, sometimes man, it was just so hard where like you were just it felt like a hamster wheel. Like you just keep on going, and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, and it pushes you to the max and to the limit. And even for me, for workouts and stuff, like it's tough. And yeah, just the whole mental health awareness kind of deal. I really believe in that, and breath work and understanding like where you are in the present moment now. Yeah, those are key in kind of helping your mental health, your physical health, and your emotional health.
And what other things do you practice to make yourself well, kind of mental health better? And on the flip side, what kind of habits or behaviors have you observed when you're maybe not in a great place? What are the kind of things that you're doing when you're not at your best?
When I see things that are wrong, I try to pivot and like see what can I do to make it a lot better, right? So it's kind of like that deal with continuous improvement. How can you make 8 hours of time into like 4 hours of time? Um, so when I was in the meal prep business, it was like we were cooking for 12 hours. And I was like, damn, why is this taking 12 full hours? Well, let's lay out our standard operating procedure, right? Let's lay out the law of the land, right? So I was like, okay, we got to make sure the labels are here so we could file everything. We got to make sure all the forks and the spoons and the ladles are all in one place right before we start cooking. Because before we were just picking off the shelf and going back and forth, wasting steps. So you don't want to waste the steps. So those things from 12 hours got into damn 6 hours. So those things of laying out your standard operating procedures on paper or on a notes or a document, whatever it may be, what gets written, it gets managed. So once you write stuff out and you have a process and you stick to that process and you make accountability measures to stay on that process, now you're operating like a business. So those are the things I kind of learned when I was in the meal prep business. I took into Tesla, and it helped out a lot because you have these expectations that you're supposed to uphold, and you're supposed to set accountability for those things. And people need direction, right? They don't want, hey, you need to do this, and then like it's all fluff in the air. They need a piece of paper or something tangible to hold them. Like, hey, we talked about it on this day. I sent you the email and all this. Like, we supposed to be on the same page. So those are the things that I kind of learned that will help, I guess, everybody listening, standard operating procedures.
The way you described your time at Tesla, you say kind of on a hamster wheel at times. It's intense, it's non-stop. That, I guess that's not even a Tesla issue. That's a American work culture issue. Even in some cases, the UK as well. I think the UK is guilty of it, and a lot of different countries in terms of what the work culture is like. Here in Spain, they siesta from like 2 till 5 p.m. Everyone's in a great mood. Everyone's really happy. But of course, the economy isn't as strong. So I was speaking to this about this with a friend the other day. I was interested to ask you, Nico. Do you think the American dream can be achieved in a healthy way?
Yeah. So I guess the American dream that everyone's been kind of like told is like go to school, get a job, and then work to retirement, whatever retirement number is to you. And then one of those is get a house, right? So, in a healthy way, yes. If you want to prolong it to all the way to 60, you're more than welcome to stay on that path. But I say, let's dig a hole somewhere else and build our own path where we're gonna do this a lot faster. Let's be a little weird and go towards somewhere else where we can actually get to that kind of like financial independence number, not retire completely, like sit on the beach, but like, how can we be financially independent where I don't need to be at the job and I have the dividends paying me instead? And doing like a part-time gig that I love to do, or a full-time job like YouTube. And so it's a healthy way to get to the financial independence, yes. But if you want to be weird and take that different path, you're more than welcome to take that path. But it's a hard path, definitely.
Nice. Well, we'll get into a little bit later on your FIRE plan and your plan for the next 5 years, things a little bit later. But before we do, I want to see if the layoff situation of Tesla, if that triggered anything for you. Did it trigger any anxiety, or how long did it take for you to start thinking positively about the situation?
Yeah, so I don't know. For me, it's like immediately I thought very positive about it. Like, hey, okay, we got laid off right away. Okay, let's start looking for a job. And so that's what I did, right? In the beginning, I was like, all right, let's do this financial independence plan. We're gonna be quick and pivot. But once it starts kind of settling in, like a month later, right? A month and a half later, kind of like gets you thinking, like, damn, they really chucked me out like that. And I was just thinking in my mind, like, damn, because I was YouTubing like layoff processes for other companies. And I was like, damn, people actually have an all hands meeting, and HR gets with you, and they tell you about the restructuring or the reduction in cost, and they sit down with you and they talk to you. And I was like, they did not do that at all. Like, I had to go in the building and get rejected by a security guard. And so as it settles in, it does get me a little bit like, damn, that's kind of weird how they did it like that. But I mean, it's a business; they have to cut costs. I mean, that's what they have to do. But in the way that they did it is very um, not good. But I mean, it is what it is. You got to work with what you got.
What's your stance on Tesla now? If someone was to ask you what you think of the company.
I still enjoy the having the car. The mission stands for accelerating the world to its transition to sustainable energy. And if you hate on a company like that, you're hating on the entire world because it's trying to save the planet. And you know, uh, I kind of like this world that we live in right now. I enjoy being on this planet, and it's bigger than me. It's bigger than myself. It's bigger than most people. It's about generation, right? It's about the people who are going to be here after us, right? That's kind of like the whole thing with the mission of what it's trying to do. And for me to hate on that, I can't hate on that. It's the planet, right? And it's saving the planet and for for the greater good. So no hard feelings about it, but it is kind of different the way they did do it. But I mean, the mission is bigger than all of us.
It's a very, very mature answer and a very mature outlook. I think it's easy to be hasty, isn't it? And yeah, it wasn't done in the right way. There's no two ways about that. But as you say, the mission is very positive. Looking back at the past 5 years, maybe a stabilization period in your life. I know from growing up, there was times when you and your family were living in a garage, um, at times, and obviously with the food business and the Air Force, this was actually maybe what you needed for 5 years, and it's put you in a good position now, hasn't it? It's kind of given you that platform to go and do something new. So I guess mixed feelings, but yeah, I guess a mature answer to what you gave. What was the biggest lesson that you learned from your time with Tesla?
Biggest lesson, I would say, controlling your response to things and also multitasking. Those are the top things that I learned. So controlling your response to things, right? And what I mean by that is you're going to try to control everything in your space. I mean, no matter what industry you're in, you have a job to do. And when you have a job to do, you're going to have these obstacles that come at you. And they're going to try to get you from achieving that, whatever you're trying to get. Whether it's getting someone to do something or it's disciplining someone, right? It's like these obstacles come at you, and your response is always is what you can control. And that's very that I learned a lot of that because there were so many things happening at once where I have to control my response in a good way, right? And also multitasking. At some point there's like five people. Actually, most of the time there's like five people talking to me at once. I got one person on the ear, one person in the other ear, and I have to respond to a lot of text messages, and then there's two people in front of me talking. So that's like that almost all the time at Tesla. And it gets overwhelming at times because I'm trying to talk to these people, but I can't because there's so many people at once. See, I kind of learned like how to text and how to talk at the same time and how to respond to a call at the same time. And so I learned those things, and it's really good because it's a built-in calluses of my mind now. Like whenever something is happening to me in front of me, like I'm able to multitask and like be able to juggle all these kind of like things all at once. And people say you're not supposed to multitask, but hey, if the situation comes at you and you have to, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And that's where the meditation comes in. So if you can kind of take a step back and be above it sometimes, and not be too reactive, as you say, it's important. So that's good. Let's move on to the future. So your plan now, obviously, you're in your Tesla Model Y. I understand that you've sold the house as well. Is that right? Successfully sold the house in San Francisco.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, house is sold, and we're getting ready to move out and all that.
Nice. So, talk us through the plan. Um, yeah, kind of living in your car. Obviously, you don't know how long it's going to be, but the plan's for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. So, my thinking is like I've done this before. It's not like my first rodeo kind of deal. So I've done this at Tesla already, where I've experienced living in a car for 3 to 4 days a week, and I was like, okay, if I could do it then, I could do it now. And it's like instead of paying for a mortgage or rent, I could put that money towards like savings and investments, and then make a higher return, right? And so my projection is about 5 years, give or take. We'll see how long that takes. But um, yeah, just live in the car, shower at the gym. I already have like a mini fridge I bought for my position as store manager in GNC. So I already have all the setup. I'm just getting used to the routine of things. And so, yeah, that's the plan. Live in the car in the Tesla Model Y, 2021 Tesla Model Y. And yeah, it's going to be fun and exciting. Going to YouTube it and document all of it. So,
Amazing. That's something I didn't mention. You also, to make your life even more difficult, you worked at GNC at the same time as Tesla between like 2020 and 2022. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for about 2.5 years. Yeah, yeah, two jobs. Because I was listening to I was listening to Dave Ramsey, and it's like every time you listen to Dave Ramsey, it's always about like good financial advice and stuff, and uh, yeah, and then this whole financial independence thing, I've always been interested in it. So that two jobs was like, okay, how do we save up even more? We work two jobs so we could save more and invest, and that's what I did.
What problems do you like see, like what are your kind of biggest worries and concerns like living in your car for the next 5 years? Because I've got a few in my mind here, but I'd like to see what's kind of running through your mind.
You always have the situation of one is security, two is like hygiene, right? And then three is like food. So you got like those situations. Security is, I mean, there's already cameras on the car and stuff, so when I camp, there's cameras on it. And then I have car window covers, so they completely black out everything, 360 view. And that's pretty. It's actually like a mini hotel in here because it regulates the temperature 70 degrees. Oh yeah, that's another one for its climate control. Like it gets cold, it gets hot, right? So the Tesla Model Y has this camp mode, and it regulates the temperature 70 degrees the whole night without the use of gas, propane, or nothing, no carbon monoxide, nothing like that. Um, Food is not bad because I have a mini fridge at my work, so food is good. And hygiene is I have a shower at the gym, so it's a whole private shower, and it's like a little mini hotel there also. So it's not too bad as I expected it to be. But as long as you have your routine, like your standard operating procedure, and you stick to that routine, hey, it's gonna be like on autopilot. Like it's gonna be easier. Yeah.
You mentioned it can be like a hotel in there in your car. It's probably the same size as some hotel rooms in London. I'm not even kidding. They're tiny, like 300-400 pounds a night. So yeah, I mean, if you've been to a hotel there, it's the same thing. One thing that came to my mind was what if you meet a girl? Kind of what if you want a girlfriend and stuff, and do you want to come back to my car? Does that have the kind of same ring to it?
I know. I haven't thought about that because yeah, living the single life for now. Yeah, so that one I haven't thought about, but I mean, if there's a girl out there and she understands, the goal and the dream and the vibe and all that, like she wouldn't really care. That's what I would think. And if there's a girl out there that actually admires that, hey, it's like it's all good. Yeah. So I mean, if they don't respect it, then hey, then I don't mind it because I'm doing my own thing.
So I mean, it sounds like I've just sparked your thought process there. So I guess let's just see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. See.
Um, so say you mentioned kind of you got into Dave Ramsey and kind of all his advice, which is great. I saw that you're sitting on some nice RSUs from your time at Tesla, and you've started up a Robinhood account.
Yeah. Had the Robinhood account since like 2020. So I invested right after I got into Tesla. So I got into Tesla July 2019, and then I started investing like in 2020 in the beginning. And keep in mind, when 2020 February hit, I was like, damn, this market's hella low. So I was like, I was investing a lot during that time. And so, um, as you guys know, yeah, the market's super down and investing when it's down. So like I was investing in like AMD, Apple, Meta, um, Google, and all these companies. And I didn't know at the time like this whole market's all down. So the appreciation and gains, I was like, whoa, this investing thing's working. I was like, this is pretty cool. You can make money from investing. So that's what I did since 2020.
And obviously, you're kind of, I said at the start, kind of things have gone a bit crazy for you since the whole story broke out. And you're sitting over, I think, 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. So, congratulations on the growth there. And I know from watching one of your videos, you're still thinking about what the channel should really focus on. Have you thought any more about that? Any previews for what your fans should expect?
Yeah, a lot of people respond really well to like anything with a Tesla, and I don't know. Yeah, I've been YouTubing a lot about the Tesla, like the bed, about the car, and all that, and also a lot of people have put financial independence stuff in there, like how to save money. And so I guess that's where it's leaning towards is like financial independence and then the Tesla. And then kind of like vlogs here and there, like about my lifestyle, my mindset, how I became to be and all that. So yeah, the channel could be about finances and living in a car and like saving money and investing and then showing people like the growth of the portfolio and all that. And then how other people can do that too if they so choose to.
Nice. And just before we finish up, I know you've got a few destinations in mind. So kind of once you feel you saved up enough money, once you're kind of tired from living out of your car, you want to move to Asia. Is that what I'm right in thinking that kind of maybe Bali or elsewhere? What's your kind of shortlist right now?
Yeah, Bali, Indonesia, or the Philippines. So I'm Filipino, and my parents are from the Philippines, so I have dual citizenship there too as well. So that's an option. Or Bali, Indonesia. I mean, I went there in September, and I saw like you can live off of like 1,000 to 1,500 a month and live like a king over there. Like housing's paid for, utilities, gas. Gas was like 60 cents to fill up your tank on a motorbike. I was like, what is this place? And so my end goal would probably be to be financially dependent over there and do YouTube full time. And so, yeah, that's like kind of like my my trajectory, my plan, my goal.
Well, look, I mean, your positivity and mindset has captured the imagination of so many people. It's inspiring, and yeah, as you say, you don't know where you're going to go with the YouTube channel. You don't know where you're going to go with your career and kind of where you're going to land. But there's one thing for sure: you're going to be all good. You're going to be fine because your mindset has got you to this point, and that's the main thing. You are the engine driving your life, and the engine's working pretty well. I mean, obviously the kind of bradycardia thing that was no pun intended. You're happy, you're healthy. You've got some great experiences behind you, and you have that mindset. So things will work out for you. I'm certain about that, and I'm sure that your subscribers are really excited to kind of go on this journey with you. So to finish off, Nico, what do you think people can learn from your story?
Oh man, I mean, you described it. I mean, all the obstacles that I've been through, from living in a garage to a failed business to getting chucked out from the Air Force to getting laid off from Tesla. But you still see a smile on my face, and we still got to keep going. We still got to keep, you know, uh, pushing to that goal, right? Get a goal, get a plan, and then get up off your butt. Those are the things you gotta do.
Brilliant. Well, Nico, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you today. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity, given everything, given everything that's happened in your life recently. But yeah, congratulations on all of your success and good luck for your journey ahead. I'm sure we'll stay in touch, and yeah, hopefully one day we'll be in Bali together, enjoying life.
Absolutely, yeah, living the financially independent life.
Nice one. All the best, Nico. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Appreciate it.